Zoloft to get your head right.
Well, all right, what's up, Head Right homies? Welcome to the Zoloft, your Head Right Hangout. I am your humble host, Zoe, the Republican reject, clown prince, conservative outcast, man. All right, hey, it is Meatloaf Monday for you political junkies. Getting you want that red meat? Give us that red meat. Give us that red political meat and all that sort of stuff. You came to wrong, but I know that's what you want, and I'm gonna try to cook it up as best as I can. Because if you came here for the news, I ain't a journalist, I ain't a reporter. Dang it, I just give my 2 cents on what this stuff is, man. I'm just a bro next door with an opinion, and we gonna try to talk about it and see if we can make some sense of it, man. Because this is the same place, this is the same space from the global rubber room. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys are getting your week off to a groovy start on Monday. Hope it gets better for you as the week goes on. And this is what I got, y'all. And hey, if you're tuning in on the Instagrams, I'm gonna try, man. I'm gonna try to keep up with y'all. Trying to do some double duty, triple duty, streaming on some different platforms. And, I don't want to be, ignorant of y'all being in here. So for those who are tuning in on YouTube and those tuning in on the website, I appreciate if y'all be gracious. If I pay a little bit more attention to who's coming in on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all to think that I forgot about y'all, to take y'all for granted or anything like that. But I'm trying to build some Instagram-age, and get these folks. Come on over to my website, bronzeservemedia.com. It's easier to keep up with y'all there, and it's easier to keep up with me for like anybody who's been wondering. So where you been? Where you been, man? Long story. Just come to the website. You'll be able to tune in to what I'm doing. All that being said, so on Instagram, Laney Higgs, thank you for tuning in. Smahoney, what is that? Smahoney? I hope I'm saying that. I'm probably saying that all wrong. Laney Higgs, Cujo, woof woof. Gino 569, David Gorinsky, I hope I said that right, man. Soundspace, oh, what's up, my dude, Soundspace from back in the day. That's where I cut my teeth on learning how to. You see the set like back there, and you see me how I refinish my drums. You see them drums I've been refinishing. I learned that from. So that might not be a good thing, man. Well, I'm looking at some of your work and stuff, and it kind of sucks. So this might not be a credit to us. That was a long time ago, and I learned some stuff, bro. So we go way back, man. And
how far back?
Man,
I'm curious because I've not heard this.
We're talking back to the 80s.
Oh wow.
Right?
Teenage hood?
It's a Jerry curl hood.
Wow.
This goes back, we go back to the Jerry curl. Right? Barring each other's activator. Man, why you gonna use up the last of my activator, man?
Did he have a mascara mustache too?
Yeah. Well, no. I think he was more clean shaved. He grew more. His hair grew more on his head. My hair grew more on my face.
Aww.
Right. So but I didn't have a Jerry curl beard though. I didn't Jerry curl my beard though. But he had locks. Right. I'm saying. And so yeah, that's how far back we go. We go back to the Jerry curl. Sliding on back to the Jerry curl. All right. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in there. And this is what we're gonna try to get to today, y'all, on Meatloaf Monday. Call it Meatloaf Monday this week. I don't know, maybe next week I'll call it something else, but I'm feeling meatloaf. I'm feeling meatloaf today. And I don't think I've ever had meatloaf. I know I must have had it at some point, even if it was one of them Swanson.
Oh my goodness.
Even if it was a Swanson's meatloaf.
Does that count?
Does that count? And with the fudge brownie, or maybe it was cherry pie that came with it. The Swanson TV dinner, with that colorful array of mixed peas and carrots.
Oh boy!
Right? Is there cornbread? Did Swanson do cornbread? I don't know if they did cornbread in the Swansons. I just remember a foil tray with some sauce, and there might be some meat swimming in there somewhere, and they had some peas and some carrots. A nice medley.
Albert's in the chat, and he's talking about Merry Manic Monday. Would you consider doing a sledge cover of Manic Monday, sledging it out? He said.
Oh. Well, no, man, because I'd have to be talking about kissing some dude named Valentino, man. That's
Albert,
I mean, I know
makes it funnier.
Maybe I can pretend that I'm Valentino and it's your Manic Monday, and we can be like, you know, picking last night to get down. Last night. All right, so I don't know. I mean, maybe Walk Like an Egyptian might be a more. But I think what's that guy's name? Leo Morrishow. He's already done a metal cover. I mean, anybody can do a metal cover they want to, but it'll look like I'm biting his rhymes if I did that. But it'd come off the tails of it or whichever. He hasn't been doing covers for a while. Yeah, he dropped off.
That's weird.
I don't know. He might be on tour or something like that. Lucky guy gets to get out there and share his music with the multitudes. Stop it. Go back from the butthurt zone. Back up from the butthurt. Butthurt. All right. So, and but at any rate, what do we got? What are we doing? What are we doing today? It's come across my desk. See now that's a trip, man. See now that's the thing. So when I don't pay attention to Instagram, people be coming in and stuff like that. And then when I stop to say hello to people, people stop coming in. And then they leave. What's up with y'all, man? Weird. All right, anyway. See, I don't know if I can blame Shadow Banning for that. That's just people just being weird. Maybe it is Shadow Banning. I don't know.
Could be both.
Could be both. Yeah, it could be both. All right, so we got President Trump reportedly, I don't want no reported, I don't want no alleged, I want definitive. I want this to be done deal. This would be some MAGA stuff. This would be making America great again. All right, I'm not, even though people haven't, I don't know when they've determined like when that place, I dig, I'm very grateful to be an American. I'm not, a prideful American. I'm proud to be an American. No, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to be an American. But this what is that defining point of like when America was great though? What's the defining point for you? Because the thing about it is for when people think that America was great, it might not have been very great for another group of people. And I know for some people they don't care, but the thing is as America as a whole, there should be, a point where it's like, hey man, this is greatness. Yeah. Unfortunately, the thing is that, America's greatness is defined by when it recovered from doing something that was really bad. It's like, okay, America's great now because, America was like doing some really crappy things. Now, I mean, those things would make America great. Like America's great because it abolished slavery. That would be a great thing.
Yes, indeed.
America, would be great. Let's say, for instance, how about when this wouldn't have been American greatness. It would have just been normal. Like, say, for instance, when abortion wasn't legal. That would be a great. That would be when America was great.
Yes.
It's just a time where it's like, dude, we ain't doing that. And then abortion became legal. It's been legal for a long time. That's not great. A country that's like, okay, yeah, if you want to kill your kids, I don't care how great the economy is, dude. I just like, when America had economic prosperity and we were in it, so what? You're in a country where it's like, okay, so the economy's so great, but you want to make it legal to kill your kids? That's not greatness. That would be an example of putting profits before people, and that's not a good thing to do in that sense, right? I don't think anybody really likes that, but as it is, these are things that when was America like great? Now this would be a moment of American greatness. There's still a lot of things that need to be fixed, but this will be an example of American greatness. If we're like, you know what, we ain't doing this anymore, man. This right here, this nonsense got to stop. It's got to stop. Dang it. Speaking of which, man, I might have a little story to tell of my own concerning this sort of things, and we'll see what you guys think. Maybe I don't know either.
Yeah, do it.
I don't know if I should. Should I? Okay. Another story. Jaguar stocks. Took a plunge after their woke. They're calling it a woke ad campaign. I don't know if you guys have seen the ad, but they're just describing it as woke, and I don't know. I might call it something else. Nancy Pelosi's daughter brags about curing ballots. I reckon there is a cure for what you're doing, but I guess that's not what they're talking about here. But dang, she does need to be cured of that mental mush that she's got going on. California has 2 Democrat candidates pull ahead to unseat GOP incumbents nearly 3 weeks after Election Day video. 3 weeks. Okay. Cutting funding to NPR is on Government Efficiency Committee's radar. MTG says, oh, that's kind of sexy. I can dig it. Let's see. Hold up. Ice Cube lets y'all know what he really feels about Donald Trump. But do we believe him? Okay. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, also on Instagram, Actom, what is that? Ackertrom, AKRTOM. Well, thank you for joining here on Instagram. Hope you come on over to broadconservativemedia.com, become a member. It's free, and you can tune in with the chat there also. Dr. Dirt, 2000. Dr. Dirt, dirty doctor. You a dirty doctor. All right, so anyway, I had too much fun saying that. You a dirty doctor. All right, scaring myself. Okay, so back to the articles. Yo.
Steve Wirt in the chat from the website
says
that post-World War II was supposedly a good era.
Post-World War, yeah. I reckon there were a lot of people. Now, like in World War II, I think we're talking about desegregation of the military. I think that came in, and a lot of people give Truman the credit for that. Yeah. Truman didn't exactly desegregate the military. He put it on paper, but he didn't exactly put it into action. It's more of a political move, trying to kind of play both sides. But it was actually Eisenhower who put it into action, what Truman put on paper. Eisenhower being a Republican and Truman being a Democrat. But I could see that. That was kind of starting to balance out. With this American greatness, but I think this is about the time that we kind of put in. Is that when we instituted Social Security?
Yeah.
The seeds of socialism got like a steroid shot during that era. So that's when socialism really started to take a foothold. Here in America. And so once again, there's this trade-off. Some great things happened. It's like, and don't get me wrong, y'all, because America. On its face, y'all, as a basis for what America was founded for, basically makes America the greatest nation in the world. Absolutely. It really does. Yeah. Okay, please don't misunderstand. There isn't another country I'd rather be in. I'm very, very grateful to be an American. But the problem is that a lot of times those who want to pervert what America is keep having too much of a foothold to do that. It's not what America was founded for. Okay, for anybody out there who's cynical about America and stuff like that, don't fall for those, because the ones who want to undermine America are the ones who institute the most oppression while trying to make it look like America is the oppressive nation. It's like, no, it's not America, it's you. You are doing that. Okay, and you're trying to sucker other people into thinking that America is this oppressive nation, so they'll vote power to you, or they'll let you have influence over them because they really want power for themselves. Okay, that's how that works. And people have been falling for that crap for generations. Mm-hmm. All right, America is a country established recognizing that man's rights come from God. That is the basis of America. That in itself is American God-blessed greatness. But once again, like I said, the people just come in and they don't accept that and they want to pervert that, and they don't want God to have the credit for the one to be the grantor of our rights that are supposed to be protected by our government. Mm-hmm. Nah, they want to be able to have the power to vote that away. They want the census. They want the representation. They want the numbers, and assume that that's the majority rules to grant them this power to be able to say, no, we're going to be the ones deciding what your rights are. All right. So that's what ends up messing our country up. We weren't founded to be. That's why Franklin said, man, it's a republic if you can keep it. But if you guys let this place go by, if you let this go by the way of a democracy, you're going to have people out there voting your rights away, thinking that's what they have the right to do when they really don't. That's what's happened to America. All right. That wasn't supposed to happen. And that doesn't make me forget that America is a great country, the greatest. It's founded to be the greatest. It's just that unfortunately we have people out there, we got a lot of perverts out there who are able, who go in and they change these things. Okay, so anyway, hold up, but thank you, Stephen. That would be an era to point to, some good things, and some not so good things. And we could say that about any area. You know, we can say that about
Yeah.
any era. So he really feels about Donald Trump, but we believe. Okay, political activists, next article we'll try to get to. Portland activists ask homeless men to give her iPhone back. Says it's only okay to steal from rich scum. All right. Neil deGrasse, Tyson melts down, claims men don't have athletic advantages in women's sports. All right. And he's science, like Mr. Science.
Oh, yeah.
That's not.
He's genius.
Yeah, that's not entirely observable, dude. The contrary. and you might be able to pick out some anomalies in sports, you know, but it ain't the norm, dude.
Yeah, didn't he say, I know we haven't gotten into the article, but he said in the video, he did a study on women's long form swimming.
Yeah.
So women are better than men in long form swimming. So therefore women are better than men at every sport. That's
the rule now.
And that's his genius level of thinking.
Man. Okay. All right. No, Tyson. No. Major cold blast to hit Helene-Ravaged North Carolina, with families living in tents and cars amid FEMA disaster. And before we even get started, you know, our prayers for the Lord's resolve and His fortification to y'all, that you will be able to fare through this. The world is what it is, y'all. It is what it is, and we're just praying for the Lord for the strength and resolve to get through it. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and back it on up to, let's go to the WLT report, read a bit of this article here. And let me check in on the Instagrammers really quick. I see Steve O. Merce join in. Thank you so much. Zigzag. Man, sometimes I think you guys come in here and these answers hear me like mispronounce them and stuff like that. And be like, Cizo can't read. Should we trust him to talk about the news? Right? Sure, why not? Right? Okay, so anyway, Steve, since the last time I checked in, we got a Steve O. Merce. Zigzag-Razel? Is that right?
That's
Okay.
a
Zigzag-Razel. That's a tongue twister.
That's great.
We're just going to call you Triple Z. All right. Thank you for tuning in. BronzeServerMedia.com. Please come on over there. Become a member. It's free. We're going to make that like that's going to be the social media platform where you guys can come in and I ain't going to say it's a true free speech platform, and you guys come in here and just say a bunch of stupid stuff. No, don't do that. We want to keep it clean, PG-13, and make it entertaining, and make it and put in honest stuff, man. And we ain't gonna have no fact checkers on there. We shouldn't have to do that. But leave articles, man. I don't care if it's food. I don't care if it's movie stuff. I don't care whatever it is, man. Just make it interesting. Make it honest, make it clean, and I'd like that for that to be a distinction about how we roll, in our neck of the woods, man. I don't want to be given over to this, stuff that, these cheap things that other social media websites use to get views and stuff like that. And of course, I ain't gonna farm your data and all that sort of stuff, spying on your DMs and whatever, like I'm creeping in your DMs and all that sort of. I ain't got time for that. Right? So anyway. Hope you guys join and become a member, man. Populate the powwows, dang it. What else we got here? Okay, so I was talking about, what was I talking about? President.
Transgender.
That's right. That's what camo ain't supposed to be fabulous. You're not even supposed to see it. So anyway, President Trump is wasting no time in his plans to return America to being the best nation in the world. And that includes our military strength. Now, if I may, y'all, and I'm not trying to, to go wee-wee in the punch bowl or anything, but this says day one. President Trump reportedly planning to kick transgender out of the military on day one. Dude, you got my vote on that. I'm with it, right? Hey, because, what I'm saying, these people, man, they need prayer, man. It's like, y'all need Jesus. Ain't trying to hate on you or anything, but you're not well, dude. Yeah. You're not well. Not trying to hate on you or anything. We're speaking out of love, man. You can't bring that kind of liability in the military. It's selfish. Okay, it's selfish. Going into the military is about sacrifice, and some of these things that you want to make so definitive about you. Okay, dude, no, that's not how it works when you go into the military. All right, you got to be prepared to make a sacrifice. All right. And that portion of your persona or what you think like makes you, you have to sacrifice that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're all about going into the military to prove yourself or to promote whiteness or blackness or your brownness or whatever it is that you have pride in, to go ahead and take to the military, and you want everybody to conform to all that or have to stop and recognize all that. So the military is really not the place for you. All right, because you're just trying to make it all about you. All that pride stuff that's all about what you think you are and everybody has to respect. Screw that. All right, you will gain more honor and respect for just going in, doing what you're supposed to do as military personnel, you know, and then when you come out or while you're there, you'll gain respect for that. You'll gain all the respect that you need. Maybe not all the respect that you want, but all the respect that you need. All right, so all that to say anyway, y'all. But I do kind of have problems with this. And now it says, if we're talking about day one, I don't know about y'all, and forgive me if my priorities are off here, but I think Trump's day one job should be to focus on them January 6ers and be like, okay, they're going home.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going home, man. What do you guys think? Is that unpractical? Am I being unrealistic here? I mean, that should be like, hey, or at least day one say, hey, the January 6ers got done dirty. Yeah. And I'm recognizing that right now, and we're going to spearhead getting these people home. Now let's talk about them transgenders in the military.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Maybe a little something like that in order. You know, is that just me? Am I out of line here? So anyway, you guys got the gist of it. You know, I mean, here's the thing, y'all. The fallout from this can get ugly. All right. And, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I've been warning about for a long time. You know, during the Obama administration, when they decided that they were going to make same-sex marriage, you know, legal, you know, nationwide, basically, one, in making this legal, this is like an official declaration from the country, you know, that we are in rebellion against God.
Yes.
I mean, that's we've validated another rebellion against God. You know, when you had abortion that became legal, that was because it legalized child sacrifice. Okay, made it an institution. This is an affront to God. And then, of course, when we're going into making gay marriage legal, same-sex marriage legal, once again, declaring rebellion against God. So, and I knew that, of course, also when that happened, it was basically the country saying we're into sodomy. And we've been sodomized by the government ever since, haven't we?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, really, I mean, it's not that we haven't been before, but it's like this time they're just straight up going in dry, all right? And, you know, we've been molested by you know, the state ever since. And so with this military, y'all, I've been saying it for years, and the Bible has already warned us. You know, we're talking about pride. If we're talking about pride, man, pride goes before destruction. And look at how pride has effectively, like, started turning our military inside out. Anybody, like, even with the Marines, that's their logo, you know, their slogan, the few, the proud. The Marines, like, dude, pride caught up with y'all. Pride is something that affects everybody. Everybody. Yeah. It's poisonous. It's gay. Ultimately, pride is just flipping gay, right? So unless it's filtered through the Lord. If you don't filter your pride through the Lord, it ain't gonna go good, you know? And it only took a few, didn't it?
Yeah.
All it took is a few. So we talk about the few and the proud, and all it took was a few. Before you know it, you know, that this becomes a big problem. And y'all, don't underestimate, please don't underestimate how big of a problem this can get. This has been warned about in the Word of God. Sodom and Gomorrah. When we went to Sodom and Gomorrah, it's a nation was a kingdom of full-on sexual perversion. Homosexuality, pederasty, transgenderism, necrophilia, all of it. It's a bestiality, all of it. If it was an indulgence, they did it. They did it all, baby. They did it all. And they went so far out there, man, that other nations, even other heathen nations around them, were calling out to God. Say, God, can you do something about this?
Yeah.
All right. That's how oppressive, as you guys have seen. Have you not seen it? How oppressive these people are? Right? How we've had to conform to their fantasies and to their perversions. Have you not seen it? Right? And so don't underestimate the problems that they can make for us, and they have been making for us. And so, and the Word of God has warned us about this, man. These people can become very powerful and very imposing to where, like I said, you had other heathen nations, warrior nations, right? These were calling out to God against limp-wristed Sodom and Gomorrah, right? God, can you do something about it? God had to come and go to war with Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, don't underestimate these people. Please don't underestimate them. Okay, and on a side note, I had a instance, y'all, and I probably, admittedly, I might have jumped the shark as far as this goes, but y'all, but we're being controlled by this sort of stuff, and I'm like, look, man, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm pretty fed up. I think this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we have to conform to these people. Okay, we're conforming to people who are not well. Okay, and this isn't out of hate. It's like, look, man, I have more concern for these people than these people who are pandering to them and patronizing. Yeah. Like, look, man, woman, whether you're a man or a woman, and when I'm talking to you as a man, I'm talking to you as a man, not as a man who identifies as a woman. All right. So I was having some some spasm. Right, in my upper back area, right? Wanted to get some drum tracks laid this weekend. Couldn't get to that, man, because I had to get it. So I went to go see. The chiropractors that are open. They're open, and I was like, hey, well, right on for that. And
open on Sunday.
Right. So I was really grateful for that. And while filling out the form, because it's almost like a drive-through, so filling out the form and one of the questions on it, and it was optional, what are your pronouns? And I'm like, it's like, come on, dude. It's like, why do people have to, why waste people's time with this? What does that have to do? Why do we have to conform to this? This kind of stuff, it gets in the way of people thriving. All right, it really does. It doesn't lead to people, even to the people that they're pandering to. It's like, man, this doesn't help them. These people need these. This isn't. Maybe you think you're helping them. This ain't the kind of help that they need. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody said, Stevo says, I'm going to switch to YouTube. You will look better on a 80-degree TV. Oh, right on. Hey, I appreciate that. Blow it up. Not like terrorists blow up, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, so I'm looking at this questionnaire that they got, and I'm like, I went in, got treatment. Treatment was fabulous. 4 or 5 stars, man. But they asked me to leave a review. They said, leave a review. Can you leave us a review? I was like, sure, right? You asked for it. Yeah. You asked for my review. You didn't ask for a debate. You asked me what I thought. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I think. I think the service that you guys everything was great. Everything was great. But I'm concerned about this. Why waste people's time with this question concerning gender and stuff like that? It concerns me because were you guys bullied? Yeah. Into having to ask this question? Or as doctors, do y'all not really know the difference between a man and a woman?
That's troubling too.
You know what I'm saying? So I that's what it's like, we don't have time for this, man. And so they responded. I guess they were mad. They're mad at me. I'm not even going to dignify your comment with a response, and saying that, how is it a waste of my time? It was an optional question or whichever. Well, it is a waste of my time because I still got to stop to see it because it's like you want to make sure that you answer everything because it won't let you go to the next thing. So I have to stop to at least see, is it optional or is it required? I got to stop on. I can't just scroll past and whatever I want. You got to stop and it's like, but why waste people's time? Why waste any resources on doing this sort of stuff? You know what I'm saying? Because as physicians, if a dude is going to identify themselves as a female, are you going to treat him as such? Would that be wise? That wouldn't be smart, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And if you got, and now, of course, if they're going to say, well, it doesn't really matter because we treat everybody the same, whether they think that, then why even ask? Why does it matter? If you're going to see a person's physiology the same way, why would you even ask them what their pronouns are? Why? What? You see what I'm saying? Why do we have to kowtow to this lunacy? It is a waste of time.
Yeah.
In more ways than you know. What you think just because, it's just a little waste that you could scroll past it on your phone? No, dude, we're being made to have to waste our time in this on many levels. Not just the fact that it's here scrolling on our phone to fill out an online application or whichever, or to registering to go ahead and get our treatment. The time that we're having to waste on this, being shackled to people's fantasies, that's a waste of time, man. Instead, we're assuming that we're being brave because we entertain these people. No, you got to be brave enough to say, dude, no, you're not. Dude, you're not a woman.
Yeah.
Hey, woman over there, you're not a man. And you're not you're not going to get a freaking cat box for you to go crap in here. You're not a cat. All right. So it's like all this kind of stuff, man, it is a waste of people's time. And should have like the courage and have the compassion to be able to say, dude, no, man, you're not going to be fulfilled by this. You're just not. And while you're trying to force the multitudes to capitulate to you, which is really freaking selfish, you really need to just understand that you're the one with the issue. Okay? You're the one with the issue. Fix that.
Yeah.
Instead of forcing the multitudes to have to conform to you. That's sickly narcissistic, y'all. It is a waste of our time. You know what I'm saying? So I expressed my disappointment that a company has given over to this sort of stuff. They asked, right? Now they mad. Now they're mad at me. But at any rate, military. That's I'm praying that this will be done. We won't have to conform to this anymore, and because, man, when you're in the military, man, you can't be having people in the service with you who have these who are concentrating on these things rather than the mission.
Yeah.
You become a liability to other people, man. That kind of selfishness, man. You can't be doing that. You can't be bringing that onto the field or whatever assignment that you're in that has to deal with defending our nation and people's are in harm's way, and you're having to do your part in this orchestration. Man, you can't be concentrating on your complexes about whether you're a man or whether you're a woman and all that sort of stuff, or trying to convince yourself and trying to convince others that you're something. Man, come on, dude. And and then whether it's the military or anything else, man, you're going to be representing something, man. You're supposed to be concentrating on that. That's where your concentration is supposed to be. But in their selfishness, man, it's like they're hung up on this, and they want other people to come along with them, ally with them, and all that sort of stuff. Instead of concentrating on what they're really supposed to be doing, they got to work this into their psyche. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
So once again, man, that ain't no freaking homophobia. That's not no transphobia. That's not no bigotry or anything like that. That's speaking in love. It's like, look, man, you can't be doing, because at the end of the day, you getting hurt too.
Yeah.
One way or another, it's gonna. I get it. It's like you've got this idea baking in your brain that you are this and you want to live that out. Okay, and I understand that it can be frustrating. You're gonna trade one problem for another one, and that other issue is not gonna be as redeeming. It ain't.
Yep.
All right. So
this is gonna boot out about 15,000 transgender active service members, and it says they would be medically discharged, which would determine that they were unfit to serve.
okay. What did they call that back then? Was that a 4F?
Oh goodness.
I
don't remember.
Forgive me, y'all, if I'm getting that terminology wrong. But what was the what do they call that, declaration or something like that? That they used for the label that was. I guess that would be
Veterans in the chat. What is the medical discharge label? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, or
mentally
unfit
ill?
for service.
Unfit for service.
Like that. It seemed like they would give people like that who had flat foot or something. But
yes, 4F per Albert.
Thank you, Albert. I was gonna bake in my brain, man, and you helped me out there. And yeah, it's now, and I wonder for those that will be going out, I wonder if am I late on this? Did they bring in the people that they've discharged from the military who were discharged for not taking the.
Oh, yeah.
That looked gross, man. I'm sorry. That should have pointed more at the arm when I did that. Sorry. Anyway.
They were calling them.
That's right.
And saying, oh, just come back, it's all water under the bridge. And
okay.
A lot of the service members were like, no.
But they'll probably, if they're still, if they haven't aged out.
Yeah.
They haven't aged out.
And they were offering. It seems like they were offering back pay.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah, and but still, some were like,
Yep.
And I can't say I blame them, y'all, but probably should Trump, because they got some other shenanigans planned.
Oh, yes.
Like I said, I think that whole thing with Biden with Ukraine putting throwing U.S. missiles, I think he was trying to escalate a little something, not just to get in the way of Trump. So I think he was trying to see if he could I'm gonna see if I can get me a third term, man. I'm gonna be a wartime president, man. That's what I'm gonna do. But
gonna pull an FDR.
Word. There you go. I mean, I'm not saying that FDR engineered a third term. I don't know, maybe but what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, I think probably when Trump takes office again, you'll have a lot of people who will feel more secure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
About going into the military and be like, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and take our job back. What do you guys think? You think that kind of sentiment would be there? I'd like to know. I am not an expert in military affairs. We
got Ray G here. He says JFN1-JFN3 for medical discharge. So that must be other codes.
Okay. Let's see. And let me check in on the Instagram real quick. I see Skill63. Thank you so much. Bob still, man. I'm telling you, you guys put these names in here just to show that UCCs can't read. They put these names in there. David Stater joined. What's up, man? Right on. Thank you so much for cruising in. We're gonna say Skill 63 for short because that other one is like it's like some Tiki Tembo stuff, and that's long.
Oh my goodness.
It's like all words are all it's lumped together. But I'm glad that you're here. All right. What else we got? Jaguar. Maybe you guys have seen the commercial. Jaguar stocks took a plunge after their woke ad campaign. That's what they're calling it. They call it a woke ad campaign. If you guys have seen the commercial, yeah, it's colorful. But I mean, I don't know. Will people start calling Jaguar Fagwar after this one? Or is that, it's like Jaguar.
Uh-oh. Prepare for the YouTube.
I know, right? It's like, no, I said Fagwar.
Censorship again.
Is that a no-no? Can't say Fagwar? You're looking at this commercial and it's like, man, people are starting to see what a fag you are. What is it? But
if we're not here tomorrow night, you know what
I know. Got fired from the internet again. But yeah, it's like Jaguar does this commercial, and it's like, why? Why would you guys do that? And because here's the thing, the commercial And once it's one of those things where it's like anybody's offended by this play on the F word for sodomite. This is what they call each other that all the time. Really. And when they call it, whether they're calling each other that as a term of endearment or when they're angry at each other. Okay? And I'm talking, and when they're disgusted with each other, it's weird. Like, you know, when they're really, and they start calling each other, and it's like they're really expressing how disgusted with each other they are, their lifestyle, right? And they get to calling each other the F word, you know, for sodomite, and it's like, I don't call them, I don't use that word with that kind of maliciousness. There's no malice in which when I'm saying a word at all. I don't feel any hatred for these people. It's not hatred at all. They express more of that towards each other than I ever had time to.
Yeah.
At any rate, so these stocks, they're taking a dive, trying to, once again, y'all, as I said, I know people talk about go woke, go broke. This isn't about the money for them, y'all. It's a religion. It's an ideology. And they're willing to make this sacrifice to promote these things in the culture. So they'll still succeed in doing their damage. I know a lot of people are like, well, if people are really tired of this sort of stuff, if people, you know, aren't really tired of this, then how would you explain Trump winning and so on? People are tired of not being able to afford to do this stuff is what they're tired of. That's really what it comes down to. They're not tired of their ideology. Okay, they're just tired of having a hard time making ends meet to be able to, you know, afford their indulgences.
Yeah.
Is more of what it's about. And they're tired of the people that they see as the ones who failed them. You know, whether it's Biden, whether it's Kamala, whether it's Obama, the Clintons, they just see these people who failed them and failed to promote their worldview. They're just going to be looking for another person to do it. You know, and if we're not careful, y'all, you know, Trump's his administration, whatever he's done, could be yanked up from him again, just like it was the last the last time. So, you know, once again, be careful, but don't assume that the whole go woke, go broke has come into effect. They're not done. You're gonna be like, dudes, did you not get the memo?
Right.
Because a lot of people don't understand. It's not about the money. It's about the religion. It's about the ideology. They're sending in freaking berserkers.
Yeah.
All right, these people are kamikaze pilots. You understand? They're willing to make these sacrifices to promote this narrative, even if it looks like it's losing. They're still going to keep at it, y'all. And what we need to try to do is get in the culture and do the things that gravitate people away from this. Obviously, I mean, because I know with a lot of, you know, the conservative idea is that we need to hit them in the pockets. You got to boycott them. You got to hit them where it hurts. You got to hit them in the purse. Okay, y'all, that's not an absolute. Okay, obviously you see these people that they're okay with losing freaking billions. All right, they are running the game. They're running the field, man. These y'all listen. These are like suicide bombers. You understand? You got people out there who will send their children with blow up vests on. You know what I'm saying? You don't think they'll do that with money too? Yeah, they'll sacrifice millions, billions to promote their ideology, to impose their religion on us. All right. But Jaguar, you know, goes and does this, but the campaign of it, y'all, of course it's senseless. Of course it's senseless because the whole campaign is we don't copy.
Yeah. Right?
We're an original. Yeah, I guess Jaguars, you know, they're making a new brand for themselves that we don't copy. Your whole campaign, your whole advertising campaign is a copy.
Yes.
You're copying this narrative of this effeminate behavior of men, you know, and this what do you call it? What's that word? Androgynous, you know, this androgyny and stuff like that. You're using that. Hey, that's not original. That's actually absolutely what you've done is copy, you know, and you've lost a bunch of respect.
Yeah.
Assuming, you know, to do something that you're not really being at all. So it's really sad.
It was actually a really boring commercial.
Yeah.
It didn't show any cars at all. It was just boring. It wasn't even well done.
Right? Didn't even really show the car. No, it didn't show the car at all.
No.
You know, and then I guess at the same time, Volvo puts out an ad. You know, and it's like, pro life, pro family, and even the way they did it was subtle, because I guess the couple, they weren't married yet.
Nope.
They weren't. But that's the thing about it. Okay, so yeah, and of course, we would tell you, it's like, look, before you do it, you want to say I do first. I know that's fuddy-duddy stuff. And not all of us can say that. Hey, that was the way that it was done. But we're supposed to be the ones say, you know what? Be better than us. Say that to the next generation. Yeah. Be better than us. That's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to encourage them and show them these are the ways that you will be better than us.
Absolutely.
Not make a fantasy that you're better than us. It's like the Gen Z. Oh man, I don't know what happened. I know what happened. My generation happened to them. We didn't really raise them to be better. All right, we messed their mind up somewhere. I'm a Gen Xer, man. I take responsibility. It's like we dropped the ball badly somewhere. Okay, but in this commercial, at first glance, I'm like, yeah, this is they're having a kid and they're not married yet. They're already they're shacking up and they're not married, and she's pregnant. But I was like, wait a minute though. They're obviously a young, struggling couple. They haven't established themselves or anything like that. They're shacking up. And knowing that they've got a kid on the way, there's a lot of fears. Like, oh man, we're not ready for a kid and all that sort of stuff. And they didn't use that as an excuse to kill the kid. And that's the beauty of the commercial. They didn't go along with the narrative of, well, we can't afford, this and that, and just decide that they're going to pass judgment on this kid for showing up and complicating their lives. Right? They did something. They chose to do something. The very thing that brings life, brings life here. They chose to do that.
Yep.
They were doing that before they got married. They were shacking up. And now they got a kid on the way, and they were as well, how dare this kid, interfere with our lives? We're going to have this kid put to death. And the beauty of the commercial is that these things that people would be afraid of, yeah. But they're like, we're going to roll with it, And so that's a lot of courage, It doesn't take courage or power to put a kid to death. That's weak, man. That's cowardly, dude. That's weak and cowardly. But in this commercial, it shows it. Nah, man. This is real strength. And so it shows Volvo. Volvo. They really want to. The thrust of the commercial is that they really wanted to show how safe Volvo is, how responsive. Yep. How it is to hey, you hit them brakes. Brakes are going to go into effect. You're not going to get all these weird, incidences with your brake, where the brakes, skids locking up or all that sort of stuff. It's like when you hit the brakes, you hit the brakes, right? And so it's featuring itself, really, it was a healthy way of playing on the emotions.
Yeah, it was.
Focusing on the emotional event of this. Very constructive way of doing that, right? And it's like you see this woman crossing the street, who's carrying this man's child, and it's like, she steps out there and she didn't see it, whichever, and she last second, Volvo's a safe car, So hey, that's a well done, it basically was like a short film.
It was, yeah.
Short.
It's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, short film advertisement, right? So Jaguar, take some notes. Back up from this stuff.
They probably will, because their stock plummeted last week because of this stupid commercial.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they will get a clue. But once again, y'all, they don't mind taking it in the shorts, financially. Obviously, right? It's because
they must not.
It's the thing. They have to know. You're watching the trend of this, right? You see these companies doing this sort of stuff, and they're losing money. They're losing confidence. You see that happening, right? It's like a freaking crackhead. It's you're watching these people get high on crack, and losing their teeth and stuff like that, getting all emaciated, knowing what they have to do to get some more crack. And they're like, man, I gotta try it. What the hell? Why would you do that? You see what this stuff does, right? Why would you say, man, I gotta try it? You know? And that's what these companies are. It's like, you know, it's like you see what's happening to these companies that do this stuff, right? And you next. Okay. Like I said, man, it ain't about the money. It's the ideology. Okay, it doesn't matter what they're going to lose, y'all. They're trying to strike their flag in the sand, just making more yards to get deeper into the culture and strike their flag. That's what it's about. All right. So please, what it takes, y'all, is promoting another narrative, you know, that gets in the way of it, making these connections in the culture. That way, the culture starts to get inoculated from this stuff. When they see this sort of stuff, it's like, yeah, you're not going to influence me with that. Yeah, that stuff is wrong. You know, you're just not going to do it. And you know, and because when these companies do that, they're still promoting this stuff in the culture. All right. And Jaguar's playing a long game. And Jaguar is usually for people like you, middle-aged and over, right? That's people who want their cars, ain't it? Yeah. Well, Jaguar is playing the long game, all right, because they know that them younger folks that these commercials appeal to, they gonna get them when they're ready to buy, you know, one of them middle-aged cars, like a Jaguar. They're gonna remember this sort of stuff. Yeah. All right, so we might want to get in the way of that, get in the way of those kind of things right now. They still find their audience, you know. Anyway, we got Nancy Pelosi's daughter brags about curing ballots in California as two Democrat candidates pull ahead to unseat GOP incumbents nearly 3 weeks after Election Day. I don't care. Anyway, and these people can flat out just say this like out in the open, you know, and then claim that they're not doing anything, you know, underhanded or nefarious or anything like in Arizona. It's like, man, come on, man, y'all, we know that y'all be messing with things. You know, you guys act like that you're not doing nothing you do and you're above board, but you got people out there who are just so flipping cocky, man, that they can just get out there and just go ahead and sit in their car, make videos, say, well, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna do this. Yeah, and you might as well have just said instead of curing ballots, you're cooking them. You're cooking the numbers.
Can any of you guys in the chat explain what curing the ballots mean? This is what Nancy Pelosi's spawn is doing, and she's singing about it and driving all over California where a Republican has won. But since they're still counting ballots 3 weeks later, she's going to these counties and these local elections and curing ballots, quoting her, and then all of a sudden the Democrat wins. Yeah.
Well, we know how that works. And really quick over on Instagram, Robert the Nest. Ernest. I got it. All right. Thanks for joining, man. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Hope you come there and become a member. It's free. So let's see, curing, but just the fact that these people can go in and they can say that, hold up this process. You know, they want to get out there and they want to hold up this process. And Democrats, they do this all the time, man. You know, it's not all the time, but when these cycles come up, it's like, you guys want to drag us through this. You know, sore losers, man. Sore, spoiled, entitled losers. Yeah. You know, so we're going to have to go through this, you know, waiting for this to go through and, you know, talk about, you know, not making the generation that follows up after you better. It's like Nancy Pelosi, man. She's like, you know, we're talking Wicked Witch, you know, level stuff. You know, it's like, you know, Nancy, not that I'm wishing for a house to like drop on her or something like that, but, you know, she's the kind of person that, you know, a house would drop on, you know, get her ruby slippers and whatever. You know, but her daughter is like, man, talk about, you know, rotten apple not falling, you know, far from the tree. You know, she's out there too, and she just passed on that evil to her daughter as well, and just boasting about, you know, and you want to talk about like white privilege. That's Democrats all day. And she just get on out there and just say that I'm going to do this, and that's what she's going to do. And I know it's like, you know, well, Zoe, there's black people in the Democrat Party and doing this. I don't care. It's white privilege. It's all white privilege. One, because you know that there is a white benefactor behind them doing it. One, and if Democrats could go ahead and get out there and misappropriate terms and call whomever they want, like they call black folks in order, they call us white supremacists.
Yes.
They determine like when it's like Joe Biden out there. If you gotta tell who Trump is, then you ain't black. These people make determinations about what we are. Give them a taste of their own poison. Give them a taste of it. And they're the ones out there saying that there's white privilege and there's white supremacy and there's systemic racism. You know what? Call them out on it. It's just call them out because they're the ones who are actually doing it. It's a real thing. Yeah. It's like, okay, you got Nancy Pelosi's daughter out there getting out there basically saying that she can do this and bragging about it. White and nobody, and she's not held accountable. White privilege. White privilege. White supremacy. She thinks she's such an elite white person that you better not you can't say nothing about what I'm doing. I'm gonna go out and do it. I'm above the law, right? White supremacy, white privilege. You know what I'm saying? And the policies that they're gonna put in, that basically keep these the minorities that they want to keep control over as ballot cattle, you know, as a perpetual voter stock for them. That's systemic racism. You know, that's what they do. That's who they are. So I see you, Christy, which
another white
right
liberal female destroying the country.
Huh. Okay, what else we got? Ooh, this is some good news. Cutting funding to NPR is on Government Efficiency Committee's radar, MTG says. That's awesome. Oh man, you know what? For a long time, man, geez, man, we're talking about decades. You know, I've been well, not so much over the past, few years, but man, KCRW, when we was living in California, and, you know, it has different call signs or call letters or whichever, different places, but KCRW is like out of Santa Monica, and man, that was my station, man. I loved KCRW. I loved the music that they played, and pretty much like 90% of it. Some shows would come on, and I was like, I'm not really that. But most of the shows, even with those, even the shows that I didn't even really care for, were still pretty interesting. You know, music shows. But when they would come on with their editorials and stuff like that, I'm like, you know, whether it was Left, Right, and Center or Harry Shearer, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and Harry Shearer is like, man, you like Harry Shearer, just be dude from Spinal Tap, all right? Just be that. But, you know, Harry Shearer would, you know, come on radio and he would do his left wing stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'd have, like I said, you have the different editorials that come on and say, tune that out. So just get back to the music, man. Just get back to the music. It was just bomb music. But now, of course, over the last few years, it's been like, ugh, man, this music sucks. What happened to this? It's not the same. It's not that same. Just, there was this juicy, you know, whether it was, some indie pop, indie trance, indie, you know, it was indie, you preface it with indie something, right? And electronica or, you know, some neo soul. It was KSR that was popping, man. It was just good. It's crap now. All that to say, and they would feature, you know, NPR or what was the other one? NPR. There was National Public Radio, and there was another one, NPR, and
yeah, there was another one.
It was redundant. It was kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
PRI, Public Radio International, right? So and NPR, I forget why NPR called. No, it was NPR. It was BBC by way of NPR. They called me and I can't remember what they wanted to interview me about. I don't even remember. But I've had my interview on NPR, and I went to high school with a guy who was with NPR. Well, not NPR, but he was a A&R rep for KCRW. He was doing, and he also signed System of a Down, right? I was mad. Well, because, you know, it's like we're of course, that would be nepotism. I get it, or whichever. And but we were briefly in a band together while we were in high school, and we had parted ways. It wasn't over anything bitter or anything like that. But and he went off to become basically a big music producer. And I went and handed him my demo tape, and I guess he wasn't feeling it. And this was about the time that, and I think instead they were already peeping at System of a Down. And so, System of a Down, they got their label and never really cared for them. No hate, no, but System of a Down, they're a bunch of communists, so left wing, nuts, and that's pretty much why I don't really care for their music. But
that's why they got signed.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, and that's I wasn't on that frequency, and even back in the '90s, it's like I knew something even before I really considered myself a conservative back in the '90s, and I was a default liberal, Democrat, young, knucklehead about this sort of stuff, and but even then, it was like something's not right about, something's not right about it. But at any rate, so NPR, y'all, you listen to these guys, always, I always had that music bumping, man, and then they have their subscription drives and whatnot, and and they have the DJs coming out to talk about send us money, and they'd be like, you're listening to the music anyway, and you obviously enjoy it, and if you don't subscribe, well, and they try to nicely say it is kind of like stealing from us.
Yeah.
Because we know that you love it, we know that you're tuning in, so why don't you just go ahead and become a subscriber? Right? We've got to meet if we meet our goal, they're gonna match it. We were looking for our angel subscriber and all that sort of stuff, right? And it was like, man, y'all get endowments, dude. Yeah. You guys are subsidized by freaking what is that? The NEA? You get them NEA, you get that NEA money and stuff, man. You guys, you're getting paid, and then you're gonna come in and you're gonna tell us that you want more. You're stealing from us. Because whether the people listen to your show or not, you're getting taxpayer funded.
Yes, exactly.
Funding. All right, you're getting that. So you're sitting up there trying to tell people that because we're listening to your show and because we don't make a donation to you, we're stealing from. They actually would say stuff like that. It's kind of like you're stealing from us. When the real deal is that you're stealing from the people. Because a lot of people didn't vote for that. They didn't vote for their money to go to you. Okay? And then on top, like I said, then you're gonna get more money from people like coming in and making pledges to you and stuff like that. Dude. And like suckers, man, you got a whole bunch of people out there. Yeah, that's right. We should contribute, and they think that these people should maintain these endowments.
Yep.
Be granted this money. No. And the thing is, it would, well, if it wasn't for their ideology, that they of course want people to subscribe to, like, yeah, dude, I'd buy it. I'd subscribe, I'd support, and I have supported KCRW. Like I said, when I was more of a default Democrat, I liked the music. I wanted to keep it going, and I didn't want it to be controlled by, any sort of sponsorship or whatever,
yeah.
And who's going to control how they're going to format their stuff. I like it organic, man. I want to hear some, some different stuff, and so I wanted to support that. But, starting to hear more of their ideologies, I can't support that. I don't want to support that. And then, of course, as of late, the music that they play, on KCRW or whatever their call letters are in their respective city, sucks now. It does. Anyway, moving on to Ice Cube. What you got going on, man? Gangster, player. OG, triple OG, triple.
Wow.
Let's see. What does he say? In an interview with Baller Albert, Cube made it absolutely clear where he stands with Trump, explicitly coming out and saying that he isn't a supporter of him nor the Republicans. All right. People who think that I'm MAGA or a Trump supporter and all that and went out there and voted for Republicans, they got me effed up. I never said that. They have no proof. I ain't never endorsed a candidate, so I think they got me effed up. It's just a narrative. That's wrong, he explained. He then went on to share how he felt he got incorrectly mislabeled as a Trump supporter, citing a meeting he had a year ago with both Republicans and Democrats to share his contract with Black America. While the Democrats said that they possibly adopt some of his ideas after they won the election, the Republicans asked to use a few of his ideas for their own platinum plan that was done in their own think tank per cube. Thanks to that, his name has unfortunately etched in connection with the party, but he alleges he was just a political pawn that they were trying to use. Okay, listen. That's not a surprise. Okay, that doesn't surprise me at all, and I already understand that. I already understood that a while ago. This is the thing for me. Okay, one, Ice Cube is a hypocrite. Ice Cube, what he promotes in the culture, the gangster persona and all that sort of stuff, the drugs, because as a gangster, well, what are you being a gangster for? Is to mobilize your product, these substances. It's like, this is what real blackness is. And all these things that keep black culture in a state of discontent. Ice Cube is a harbinger of that.
Yeah.
However, he doesn't want that stuff around his kids. He don't want that stuff around his wife. It's like, Ice Cube is like China.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube is like China. I'm gonna push this stuff. I'm a garbage pusher for this stuff on you, but you keep this stuff away from me. And China does the same thing.
Yep.
You can bring your movies over here. You can tap into our high population and our market, but we are going to pasteurize those films that you make in America. We're gonna change them up because we don't want y'all affecting our culture over here. Okay, but you'll be able to sell once we've changed your script up a little bit. We'll go ahead and sell to and then you can make money off of that, and you can go ahead and make more movies that pollute your population with. You can go ahead and do that. Ice Cube is the same way. All right, but here's the bigger problem for me. So Ice Cube comes out with this, and I see all these, Republican voting. People responding, MAGA, Republican, whatever, responding, well, I'm not going to support his movies anymore, and it's his music and his movies, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that y'all were into gangster rap or whichever, but you're not. But the language is, we're not going to support his stuff anymore. Okay, well, you're just admitting that you support people promoting garbage in the culture. You supported it. And that's why, the culture is polluted as it is. Because you're flat out admitting that you supported it. But what's really sad is that you're not going to do it anymore because he's not pro-Trump. So if he was pro-Trump, you would be totally okay. And they prove this stuff all the time. Okay? You could be a pusher of poison in the culture, but that's okay as long as you're for our guy.
Yeah.
That's just sad, man. That's just freaking sad, And I don't know, maybe I'm butthurt about it because I'm like, you guys can support this crap, but you don't support my music, And I'm like, is my music that bad? Where it's like people would rather go and support Ice Cube because, and I guess because they think that he's pro-Trump, and now he's not, so they don't want to support him anymore. But you did, you did. So, and I just think that, and then the other one, and really quick on Instagram, thank you so much, Joe Casey, Grim Jim, and man, how do you put so many consonants together, like, and then JVECV. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Hope you guys come there and become a member. And hey, Zigzag says your music is great. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I hope. Well, Zigzag, forgive me because I can't see your picture, Zigzag. Because that could be a female thing too. I don't know.
This is true.
And so, not trying to be facetious or anything like that, or politically correct or whatever. Just. I don't. It's a nickname. It could be female. It could be male. So I don't want to mistake. Let me see. And of course, for y'all who are on BronzeSerpentMedia.com tuning in and on YouTube, love y'all, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm just trying to, build up my Instagram game, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Bear with me. And but yeah, the typical, the pet peeve typical comment that I see when you see these celebrities do stuff like that, I can't stand this one. Who cares what these people think? Who cares? That's not helpful, man. That's not a smart question. These people have millions of fans. Okay, Ice Cube has a lot of influence. He's got a lot of fans who care what he thinks. All right? So it's not a good question to ask, who cares? It's a rather ignorant question to ask. And it's the mistake of underestimating these people and underestimating the influence that they have over people. All right? Come on, man. Ask a better question, okay? Let's see. Moving on. You guys might delight in this. Portland activist asks homeless men to give her iPhone back, says it's okay to steal from rich scum. There's a lot of levels to this. I mean, let me see. Okay, so this woman, I guess she got her phone stolen, and she obviously I guess she wants him to give it back. Why? Why should you want him to give this phone back? You know, you should be happy shouldn't you be happy to give him your phone?
Yeah.
You know, because she says she's a good person.
Yes, she does.
Right? I'm a good person. But he has your phone now. Go get another one. go get another phone. He's got your phone, and you should be happy to be, because I mean that's what being a good person does, right? But as it is, she wants him to give back her phone, and says that it's okay to steal from rich scum. Well, wouldn't you be rich scum? Because you're definitely rich compared to him. He doesn't have a phone. You do.
She's rich compared to a lot of people in America. She lives in Portland and she has an iPhone.
Come on now. You know, you got this iPhone and he doesn't. So he stole from some rich scum like you. You know? And so now, I know there are a lot of, Republican voters would say that, yeah, she's a commie, but she's enjoying capitalism because she has an iPhone. Y'all, please stop saying that. That's not capitalism. Just because you were able to buy an iPhone. Well, look at it, the anti-bourgeois communist hypocrite enjoying her iPhone like a capitalist. That's not capitalism. Why do people? It's unfortunate. That's why capitalism loses in the culture, man. We haven't been capitalists for decades, right? In our lifetime, anybody watching right now, in our lifetime, I don't care how old you are, in our lifetime we have not been capitalists. We haven't been capitalists for a long time. All right.
We've been capitalists in our grandparents' lifetime.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying, y'all? and I'll remind you again. We're not going to go fully socialist. We're not going to go fully communist. We're not. The Democrats are not communists. Well, they are. They're communistic, but they're not going to go that route. They're not going to do that. Okay? And you don't even have to call Democrats communists. Democrats are already something worse. Okay? If you're calling them communists, you're really only helping them, because communism is seen as cool in the culture. And if you're calling it that, people are just going to gravitate to that. All right? And they're not going to realize that that's the thing that's hurting us. And that's the reason why Democrats are not going to make us a communist or socialist country. Because if they did that, then they wouldn't have it to blame for the economic problems that we're having and for the misery of the culture. They have to keep us we're more quasi-socialist as it is. You got the government that is regulated and is in bed so deep with the corporations. Okay, we don't have crony capitalism. We just have cronyism. There's no crony capitalism. It's just cronyism. Okay, but the government is in so deep with them. All right, sodomy wise. Anyway, they're so deep with them that they don't have to be socialist. You see what I'm saying? They're the regulations and the control that they have over it, right? And that they really have over each other. Really, it's an unholy union, y'all. And both of them play pitcher and catcher. You know what I'm saying? They're both doing it. They don't have to make us socialists, and it wouldn't be in their interest to do that, because if they were, they couldn't blame capitalism for the discontent of people. You see what I'm saying? Capitalism is a patsy in our culture. All right? Capitalism, they always want to be able to have that to blame as a narrative, because it equals power, it equals votes, and equals revenue. People pander to people using capitalism as the bad guy. All right, even though we haven't had capitalism in our lifetime. All right, we haven't had true capitalism. So when you have these people, who say that, well, she's enjoying capitalism, that's not capitalism. I'm sorry, do you not have mobile phones in socialist countries too? Yes, you do. Right? You can be a socialist and make money. Socialists make money also. Where do people get this? The capitalism is all about making money, and capitalism is about enjoying products. That's not what capitalism is. Capitalism is simply this. I'll make it very, very, very simple. Capital is basically when you tax outcome, not income. That's basically what capitalism is. Capitalism isn't about how much money you make. Capitalism is about the restrictions of what the government can take. The government cannot take your property. They can't tax your property. They can't tax your gains. They can't tax your income. Those things are your property. All right. That's basically that's really all it comes down to. Capitalism isn't defined by your possessions per se. Capitalism isn't defined by how much money you make. That's not what trying to associate capitalism with bourgeoisie or materialism is nothing like that. That's not what capitalism is. Capitalism is simply this. I've earned this, and the government cannot levy against it. The government cannot lay claim against it. It would be a violation of my right to property. It is about what the government is not allowed. It is about what the government is not allowed to take. That is what capitalism is. That's all. Now, of course, and once again, people will say that, well, capitalism is a pejorative made by Karl Marx. Karl Marx didn't invent the concept of capital. All right. Just because he turned it into some words as a pejorative doesn't mean that it's not the right word. Capitalism means that it is an acknowledgement that this is my property, whether it's my income, I've earned it, it is mine, right? You do not have the right to come and take it.
Yeah. That's
capitalism. All right. So to try to associate capitalism with the bourgeois or even trying to, capitalism and free market are a complement to each other, yes, but they're not exactly the same thing. We have free market here in America, but guess what? In the free market, if you're working in the free market and you earn your salary or your pay or whatever, well, you're going to get taxed on that. That's not capitalism. So capitalism and the free market aren't the same thing. They're just a complement to they're more of a complement to each other, absolutely, but they're not the same thing. All right. So but a lot of conservatives and Republican voters, they don't even make that association. They just think that capitalism is about making money. It's how about how much money you make and what you're allowed to buy. That's not really the definition of capitalism. But at any rate, so this person right here is. Maybe getting a taste of, people who feel entitled. This person felt entitled to her property. Yep. Well, that's the system that you want. You want a system where it's like, yeah, I feel entitled to what you have, and I'm going to take it. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's the system that you want, girlfriend. Now looking at this, looking at this biblically, she's going and she's asking this person to give her phone back, and it sounds like she's trying to say that if you give me my phone back, you'll be rewarded.
Yeah, she said, I'll give you even more. If you just give my phone back, I'll give you more. Because I'm a good person, is what she said.
Hey, girl, listen, you can make this real simple. You're offering you're offering to buy your phone back. Why don't you just go buy another phone? Let him keep it and just go buy another phone. You know, now I understand. Hey, she's probably got pictures on there.
Yep.
You know, all her contacts. You don't want to go through the trouble of, but I mean, hey, that's why you back that stuff up. And since you know where your phone is, all you got to do is, hey, just go to the cloud or whichever, how you do that. And you can go ahead and download. I think all that stuff is uploaded to the cloud anyway, I think, or you can make it to where you can recover, you know, your pictures and your contacts. Just go ahead and do that and just write it off. He's got your phone now. He's of the same mindset as you. Okay, yeah. Be your brother's keeper and be the collectivist that you want to be. He has collected your phone. All right, go buy another phone.
Yeah, when mine got stolen, I didn't know that. I must have had a credit card expire or something, but I was backing up my pictures to the cloud. But then something happened, and it only backed up like so many years, and then it lapsed. And the ones that were on that iPhone, those are the ones that lapsed. So I lost all the pictures. And
Yeah.
Apple, I went to the Apple store, and they couldn't tell me what happened. They're like, we don't know.
But
They just said, make sure that you see the thing coming out on your card or in your bank account every month so you know that you're paying for the storage.
and that could be, you know, just what she wanted. She wanted those things to make sure that she got them all. But you need to understand, you know, girlfriend, that this is that entitlement culture that you want. And it's like I think, you know, of course her pride, you know, is hurt that this person got a hold of her phone.
Yep.
And she actually wants her phone back. Hey, listen, we want our stuff back too.
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'll start to see things a little bit differently because your ideology has been stealing from us for decades. The thing that you want to believe, okay, and you can't believe that this has happened to you. That's the thing about it. It's like wow, are you shocked that this has happened to you? and you want justice.
Yep.
Right? So and look, she looked. I mean, I don't know. Did she look like she was like white?
Yeah.
You know, white. Don't as a white woman, excuse me. Don't you deserve to be stolen from?
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
According to your narrative, you know, hey, the white people got this coming to them.
Yep.
Well, be a martyr to your own ideology.
Exactly.
Let this person just go ahead and take whatever it may. But I didn't see who she was talking to, though. It might have been another white person. So it's like maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They look white.
Yeah, it's like maybe she's like, well, you don't count. You can't steal from me. If you were maybe if you were a black person, I would allow you to steal from me because you know we got to keep that narrative going that black people steal. So you know maybe but since you're a white person, you're not allowed to steal from me. But hey, live it, girlfriend.
Yeah.
You believe in this entitlement culture? Well, there you go. Knock yourself out.
She is your typical elitist, very highly college educated. You can just tell by how she talks, how she's dressed, where she lives. College educated, white liberal.
Huh. And now I wonder if this was one of those, was this one of those Chaz?
Not Seattle.
Is it Seattle? I mean, I'm
This
not
is in Portland.
Not saying that it's what it is now, but weren't they one of those areas that tried to do that? You know, make an autonomous zone.
Yeah, they did.
While still wanting funding.
Yes. And they had guns and were like threatening to shoot people.
Yeah.
I think they did actually shoot at some people.
It's like, wow, a lot of that stuff is very contrary to your narrative. You know, it's very hostile, dangerous place to be. I thought y'all were supposed to be the safe space. No rape zones and all that sort of thing.
Well, I can speak to that because I have a lot of my cousins live near the Chaz zone. They're very liberal, you know, college educated, very, very liberal. And they said, well, we don't live near that. So it's fine for them to have Chaz over there.
Right.
That's not near us.
They're kind of Well, I would say enemy. It's not in my backyard, but it's like as long as you keep it like way out of my backyard, you know.
Yep, that's how they are.
Yeah, that's how they are. And then speaking of elitist, college educated, Neil deGrasse. Neil deGrasse Tyson melts down, claim men don't have athletic advantages in women's sports. So he's on the show with Bill Maher, who gives a lot of Republican voters a tingle when he says something. And y'all, I think Republicans, they really need to get this straight, man, because they're so willing to like just adopt somebody as a conservative just because they say something that's different from liberal. Saying something opposite or something in opposition to the liberal ideology doesn't make you a conservative. All right, it's conservative thought, and you have to base that on something. Okay, it can't just be based on, oh, I think differently from liberals, or I think that this idea that they have is ridiculous. All right, that doesn't make you a conservative. But at any rate, so Bill Maher is challenging deGrasse on what's the issue? What was the issue? What was the thing? Let me read a little bit of it.
Oh, and
because I try not to keep what Bill Maher says in my head for too long.
Yeah.
Try to, I see it and then I try to junk that stuff. So let's see. This is going off saying, Bill, every 20 minutes on your platform, you come up with another reason why the Democrats lost. So Bill Maher is making excuses for all of it. It's like, look, the Democrats lost for the same reasons that they usually do. Their ideology, ultimately, it hits people in the pocket to where they feel like they can't afford. Because some people can afford their lunacy. Some people can afford it. Most people can't. Okay, and they still want to be lunatics. They still want to be perverts, but they want to be able to afford to be. And when they feel like they can't afford, they feel like the people who are representing them failed, and they want them replaced. Okay, or even in the meantime, replaced with somebody who can make it to where they can afford to be perverts. And that's a big part of why the Democrats lost in this case. Okay, and this is the same reason why they got sick of Obama. They were getting sick of Obama. And Republicans are getting excited. They're waking up, they're learning. No, they weren't. They were just getting sick of Obama because he wasn't delivering on what they felt entitled to.
yeah.
All right. So then it goes on to say that's not true. First of all, you don't watch this show. So Bill Maher's calling him out. And Bill Maher's like, you can't BS me. And it's like Bill Maher is all about digesting BS and regurgitating a lot of it anyway. But let me see. Let's get down to what the beef is. Okay, so they're talking about Scientific American.
Yes. The editor-in-chief who was asked to step down
Right.
after her expletive-filled rant on Twitter.
Yeah, okay, so now Bill's like, let's just read it here. An editor for Scientific American says that who no longer has a job. Tyson interjects and says who no longer has a job, by the way.
Yeah.
So don't indict a 170-year-old magazine because somebody, he continued, before Maher jumped back in to question the magazine's commitment to science while pushing such radical and false position. There's nothing radical about their position. It's a rebellious position. It's not radical at all. It's not rooted in anything. Okay. So Tyson continued to focus purely on Helmut's comments while Maher reiterated that the real scandal was the article about men competing in women's sports. Long distance swimming, women might actually have that advantage. You look at it. So according to Tyson, because of this anomaly,
Yes.
that is like the totality of the evidence that says that women or men competing in this cross-gendering in sports or whichever should be okay.
Correct.
And Bill's like, what the crap is scientific about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I agree. Doesn't make him conservative, but it's like I guess even sometimes Bill's like, yeah, that doesn't register. All right, that's not working. Now, and this is scientific. I mean, these are people who are supposed to be all about science. Just like I was talking about, earlier, with my doctor visit. And we're having to fill out this questionnaire, and it's wanting to know, what are your pronouns? I'm like, dude, how is this scientific? How is this helpful to anybody medically? It's not helpful. It's not a helpful thing to ask, right? And if you're going to claim to be scientist and be about science, well, dude, this doesn't pass the science test, man. If you're capitulating to this narrative, we got to acquiesce to this sort of stuff. So, I guess even there, Bill Maher's like asking this, like, dude, no. So the article goes on to say the HBO host refused to let Tyson off the hook and returned to the topic later on his segment. I can't get a scientist to say that Scientific American, the magazine, as so many institutions have been ideologically captured by this very, very far left wing to the point where where they're denying stuff that is just obvious to the naked eye, Maher said. Guest panelist Andrew Sullivan agreed with Maher's assertions, adding that the left's embrace of, and they keep trying to use the word radical, there's nothing radical about it. Okay, radical gender ideology. It's like people associate, when they hear the term radical, they think extreme. Yeah. Just say extreme. Okay, I mean, how many times I got to go over this, man? Radical means rooted. There's no root to anything that the left wing does. One, there's no root to an entitlement mentality, collectivist mentality. Nothing. There's no root to it. You can't satisfy it. It's an abyss. This self-righteous virtue signal, all that, you can't satisfy these people's sense of virtue. You can't satisfy what they feel entitled to. You can't satisfy any of that. There's no standard to it. You ask them, well, how much should a person be taxed? Are you going to get a solid number? No. You're not going to get anything solid from these people. You're not going to have anything that you could root into. You're not going to have anything that you can root into in terms of gender appropriation. When these people can decide how many genders there are, can you root in something like that? No, you can't. There's nothing radical about it. And because people get away with misappropriating these terms, and because especially Republicans who help them do it, these are the reasons why people think the parties have switched sides. And that's why it's so hard to make these inroads in the culture. Yeah. Because we let them control the language on it. We help them do it. Stop doing that. It's a big pet peeve of mine, man. And it's such a simple thing. It's such a simple thing, but people they're hooked on it, and they don't understand why it's so hard to get out of this cycle. Even at the founding, when the first Republican convention was put together, they stated it. Radicalism as a political ideology to be rooted they flat out said it at the origins of the Republican Party. The Republican Party was founded in radicalism. It was your radicals who actually got together and made the Republican Party, and they made that declaration about radicalism. Whereas the Democrats were the rebels and still are. And the Constitution spells out what that rebellion is, which is exactly what the Democrats have been doing. Yeah. But we don't, when you're talking about these gender ideologies where you're a man and you claim to be a woman, that's not radicalism, y'all. That's full on rebellion. You're rebelling against your biology. You're rebelling against what the Lord has decreed is what is a man and what is a woman. The Lord made this declaration about us from the beginning. If you say that if you're a man and you claim that you're a woman, you are in full on rebellion against what God has said and against your own biology. That's rebellion, dude. There's nothing radical about that. So at any rate, I'm like, one of the very, I know I'm pretty much talking to a brick wall as far as that goes, but I have to keep saying it because obviously people get roped into this. Yeah. I have to keep saying it so I don't get roped in. I strike my flag in the sand and feel like you are not getting me to adopt. Because once you start going down that road, y'all, and a lot of people have, and that's why you got a whole bunch of Republicans using the language. Like I said, they use the language that Saul Alinsky influenced, and they're using their language, that language. He's controlling their language from the grave. Yeah. And they don't even know it. And they don't even know how they're helping the Democrats get away with this lunacy. And I'm like, you ain't getting me. So I'm going to keep on saying it. I will keep on defining what radicalism is. Anyway.
Yeah. I guess you kind of just answered the question is Well, words, their meanings change over time. So
Well,
in our culture, radicalism means extremist. So
and people will say that all the time. Well, words change because we've allowed them to.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're making my point. The Democrats, they control the language and they control the language of generations. And we just say, well, that's what it's come to mean today. It's come to mean what you've allowed them to make it mean, as opposed to what it was rooted in. And if we would have kept that root in the first place, we might not have these problems with these Democrats. If the Republican Party would remember radicalism, instead of giving that distinction over to the Democrats, it's a false distinction. And Republicans remember who they were, we probably wouldn't be having these problems with these Democrats.
Yeah.
But, you know. So, yeah. Let me see, what else does this article say? But you guys get the gist of it, man. It's, you got these people out there who claim, these are the people, you know, who claim to be the premiers of science. They're the ones who are, they're the published experts in telling us what science is. And we have to go along with the so-called science that says that women can do these things and identify as a man, and vice versa, and they can compete in each other's sports, and there's no detriment, you know, there's no liability as far as that goes, and it's absolutely not true.
Yeah, and that's what Bill Maher's whole point was, and he had to pin Neil deGrasse Tyson down to actually argue the point that it's not that this lady was fired for her rant, like good, she was fired, great. It's that she put that article saying that men and women are equal and they should be allowed to have trans men in sports, or however you call it.
Yeah.
Men who think they're women, they should be allowed to participate in sports. And that is in Scientific American.
Yeah, folks, listen. I can be as egalitarian as the next person. This you're doing it wrong. It's not. Men and women being equal, you know, and human beings, and having to say, y'all, of course, but there are just certain things that women are not going to be as efficient at as men, and vice versa. Okay? There's just certain things that would be a waste for certain things that women do. It would be a waste of resources. It would be a waste for men to do. Okay, and it'd be the same thing for women. It would be a waste of resources, it'd be a waste of attributes and things like that for women to do these things that men are normally elected to do. Okay, there's things that we do that are a complement to our physiology and things. All right, it's not like putting a limitation. These people, you know, they act like there's some sort of limitation. But in doing these things, you're actually putting more limits on yourselves, in a more brutal way. You know, if you're gonna have a man go in there and doing, you know, competing in a sport that women do, especially if it's like more of a contact sport, a man is gonna limit a woman like pretty bad, and chances are she's gonna get hurt. And we're seen as the ones who are not compassionate. I don't say those things as to be condescending or belittling to a woman. Hey, back off there, little lady. You're gonna get hurt. It's like, look, no, seriously. Because we care and because we value you, don't allow a man to appropriate your gender and come in there and dominate you, even to a point where it could really cost you physically. You know, don't do that. You will belittle yourself. You know, maybe that's what you want to feel empowered to do. Maybe you just, I have the power to have myself belittled, and I'll make that determination for myself. Get in here and belittle me. You're gonna have to make me belittle. You know, whatever. I don't know. It's dumb. You know, so and it's certainly not scientific. At any rate, let me check in on Instagram really quick. I see Alex C had joined since then. Joe Casey. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for a bit. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. I hope you become a member. It is free. Populate the powwows, y'all. All right. One more article, then we're gonna get on.
And what is the powwows?
Powwows. That's kind of like my little social media thing that we got going on there. You can come on in there and leave your memes. Get meme crazy. You know, just keep it clean and PG-13. Keep it honest and interesting. All right. One more and we'll get out of here. Here's one more. Okay. Hey, I mean, this is just more of like a heads up, man. You know, major cold blast to hit Helene-Ravaged North Carolina, with families living in tents and cars amid FEMA disaster. So it's and right there, y'all. That's enough said. And there's organizations like Convoy of Hope. If you go to Convoy of Hope, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to have this on their website amidst the response, care of in the aftermath of these things, trying to get aid to people, food, water, some shelter and whatnot. If you go to Convoy of Hope and you want to contribute to them, they've been around for a long time, and doing right.
They're a Christian organization.
Yeah,
and they're a wonderful organization.
Right. So and man, it's not even winter yet. I'm trying to milk autumn, man. I know it's getting cold and stuff like that, but it's still autumn, man. don't rush my autumn, okay? That's my season, man. We was married in the autumn, you know what I'm saying? And autumn is just that's when the Lord was walking in the garden, man, in a cool day. Of course, unfortunately, that's when Adam and Eve transgressed, but they was made in the autumn. And if people wonder, well, how do you know that? So you got to read the Word of God, and it'll tell you. Okay? Autumn, man, that's my season, man. So don't rush it. But the cold, is starting to move in, on these folks.
They're getting snow already, but they're going to get a cold front this next week. And FEMA only gave most of these people a 2-month voucher for hotel rooms. And now FEMA is telling them, oh, wow, go live in your tent or your car.
While, some illegal immigrants, they get
hotels.
And I don't know if they get an expiration date on theirs.
I don't think so.
Yeah. If you guys want to go in, to Convoy of Hope to see how maybe you can help, or get some donations, and see if we can get some folks, prayerfully consider these things, and that we'll be mobilized by the Lord to see what we can do.
Yes.
To get some people out of the cold, man. Cold sucks. I'm a big sissy when it comes to cold. I don't like the cold. There's the article right there, and see if we can get these people.
Yeah, some help.
Mm.
Zachario? Now I can't pronounce names. In the YouTube feed is sending hugs.
All right, man. We're gonna hug it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another dose from the Zoloft. BronzeSerpentMedia.com, y'all. Hope you come over there and become a member and populate the powwows, as I said before, and we'll probably say again. Drop that buck in the bucket to keep your bro Zoe on the go. Trying to build this production company, y'all. Trying to build this media ministry of ours, and do what we can to creatively promote these right-minded, head-right narratives, man. Whether it be the Bible studies, put them in comedic mediums. Skits should be like, Monty Python, but for Christians and stuff like that. Saturday Night Live, but for conservatives. And we can do it, man. We can actually do it without making it hokey and, on the nose and corny and whichever. We're going to do it. Trust, right? And that we can make it happen. Prayerfully trust in the Lord that we'll do it right and not be a bunch of dorks, which I'm kind of prone to do. But at any rate, y'all, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a very groovy rest of your evening, and we will see y'all the next time in another one of our amazing. It's like, so you sound like you're being sarcastic. I'm trying to make it to where we really live up to it being amazing. Bronze Serpent Media Productions. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Where my bye button at? I did it again.